Hello, hello. Welcome back. And today we're talking about a super relevant topic. It's something we all deal with, and it's something that I just recently dealt with. And I was like, why not share? So, you know how things always happen, We always have, or not always, but usually we're living like a pretty happy life and things are going great. But then something happens. That person triggers us, something gets blown out of proportion, you say something, and then all of a sudden, like, it just seems like the whole house falls down? And so that's what happened like a couple days ago for me. I definitely made it way worse in my head, which, note to all of you guys, we always make things way worse in our head than the actual situation is. So don't overthink everything. But let's talk about how to deal with triggers. Because as humans, we're always going to get triggered by something. Things from our past, something will do something and it'll take us right back to that, and we can get angry or sad or have doubts about ourselves and, all that fun stuff. And the thing is that we have to realize is getting triggered has nothing to do with other people. Like if someone says something to us and we get triggered by it, it actually has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with us. Because someone else who isn't insecure about that certain thing, it wouldn't even faze them. It wouldn't even pass on their radar. They won't even recognize that thing. But for those of us, if someone says something and we get really hurt by it, it's because it has something to do with us. And it's just something that we need to work through so that, we don't have to be scared of it, or so it doesn't keep hurting us. And another thing to realize is that when people say things, it also has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. So if they're in like a really bad mood and you think they're mad at you, you could be being the absolute best person and they could still just like, really yell at you, and it could have nothing to do with you. Or someone could say a comment and it has everything to do with them and how they're feeling and their state of mind and has nothing to do with you. Okay? So don't take things to heart. Don't take things personal. And I know this is a hard one. It's still something that I'm still learning how to deal with, But we'll do it. Anyhow, so these are the steps to do when you get triggered by something. So first of all, when we get triggered, notice what happens. It's actually a bodily sensation. Like for me, when something happens and I get hurt or something really triggers me, or someone isn't responding to my text and I'm like, oh, do they not like me anymore? Or that doesn't usually happen, but it did when I was younger. And you'd just be constantly looking and they're not responding. And you're like, man, what happened? And for all of these things, what I feel is it's like this punch that goes from like my throat all the way down to my gut. It's like this downward motion. And I feel it in my shoulders and my neck. Like it just like, I feel like adrenaline and like really tensing up. And then it makes my stomach nervous. So that's what happens with me. But you have got to know what happens with you. Like, do you just feel like a punch in your stomach? Like, what is that feeling? Because what happens is, like, I'll give an example. Like, if whoever we're talking to, like, say, a guy or something, and they don't respond to us, and they're not responding, and they're not responding, and you keep checking your text, and they're not responding, and you're like, days have gone by, and you're like, what happened? Did I say something wrong? Like, and every time you look at it, you feel that drop in your gut. What all that's doing is it's taking you back to an original trigger, which probably happened in your childhood when your father like walked out on you or something like that happened, which we probably don't quite remember. Some of us do, some of us don't. And now that trigger that happened to our 7-year-old self or our 5-year-old self keeps getting brought up every time someone doesn't respond to us. It's like an abandonment issue. And so that's something we need to work on. And that's what life is for. It's for us to, dig all those things up and heal from them so we can be whole, and healed. So just notice that. And also notice that what that 7-year-old version of yourself felt, like that punch in the gut, if that's what you feel, that's what your 7-year-old version felt. And that's what you're still feeling now, even if you're 34 years old or 72. It takes you right back to that time. and you'll be responding from that 7-year-old self. And so you could be 34 years old, but you can be totally responding as a 7-year-old, the 7-year-old version of you. And that's usually what we see out there. When someone gets triggered, they start acting like childish or, in really hurtful ways, because it's the little kid in them that's coming out. So we have to, just be mindful of that. And it's nothing wrong. It's not anybody's fault. It's not your fault. It's just something we need to work through so, we can live happy lives. So when you notice that, when you feel that gut punch, it's actually like really hurting your gut or wherever it is, because these feelings, they're really real to our body. So we need to, I forget how to explain this, but when you feel that huge contraction and knot in your gut, it's not good for your gut. Like, it's in a sense like harming your gut, like it's making it sick. So we need to pour love around that. So when you feel something, the first step is really feel it. Like if someone makes you feel sad or something happens, if you can't do it in the moment, go later and just sit and feel it and be like, wow, I really feel hurt and sad, and just be okay with feeling that, because emotions is what? Emotion, energy in motion. So we need to feel that, otherwise it will get stuck in our body and our body will memorize it. So just sit and feel it. Like if you have to cry, cry. If any, like if you want to, like do it at night. So if you have to do like a 3-hour crying session, you can, just to get it all out. And once you felt it, pour love on it. Just like put all this loving energy around your stomach or wherever it is that you're feeling it. And because that will help change what your body is feeling. Because right now it's feeling really sick from, the gut punch feel or whatever it is that's happening. So just pour lots of love on it. Like just picture your 5-year-old self even, and like hold her and console her and like really kind of mother her, because in those situations you probably, didn't get consoled the way you needed to be. And so that little version of you is going to keep coming out until it feels safe and completely heard. So that's just one little tip that can help. And yeah, so the second step is feel it. So the first step is feel it. The second step is pour love on it. And this is also another thing when you're dealing with someone else who is triggered, like your kid or someone else, just really hold space for them. And instead of trying to keep giving them advice and trying to move them along in the process, because most people don't want advice. They just want to be seen and, be heard and listened to. So if someone else is going through a trigger, like really just sit and listen and be like, okay, like if it's your kid, like, okay, where are we feeling this? And then pour love on it. And then see what the underlying belief is about this. Because a lot of times all of this boils down to is like one underlying issue of like that you don't feel worthy. So like sit down and like journal, and for like 15 minutes, don't pick up the pen, because that helps your subconscious mind come through and your conscious mind, to relax. So then what is actually going on underneath the surface can come out. So like really just journal about what happened, and then what is my belief? And if you don't know what to say, just keep writing. Like, I'm not sure what to write, but if I did know, what would I say? And like for me, a lot of times it'll be like that I'm not worthy, or that I'm not, kind enough, or I'm not a good person, or like whatever it is. And then go through it and be like, okay, so this is the belief that I have. Is that actually the belief that I want? And most of the time, it's not even a true belief. Like for me, I'm like one of the sweetest people out there. And when something happens and all of a sudden, and someone's mad at me, and then I'm like, I'm the meanest person in the world. Like, I'm just like the worst person. And that's not true. So that's why it's important to write it out, to be like, okay, so you can see it on paper and you're like, okay, this is my belief. It's really a deep-seated core belief. That's why it keeps coming up. Now I need to come up with the opposite, empowering belief, and believe that. Because that's actually the truth. Because if you feel into the disempowering belief, you'll feel all constricted and down, and that's because it's a lie in your body. But truths, they feel expansive, they feel wonderful. And so see the opposite belief. Like if it's, oh, that nobody likes me and I don't have any friends, get into the opposite. Be like, okay, that's what I believe, but what's the opposite that's actually the truth that feels expansive? Like, I have so many friends, everybody loves me. When I go to the lunch table, everyone wants to sit with me. And then get into the feeling of this. Because what all of this is about is thoughts are important, but what thoughts do is they generate feelings in our body. Feelings are the language of the body, and that's how we attract things and repel things and change the creation energy around us. You know, because as humans, we're mini creators. And it's true, we're like more powerful than we think. We can change the atmosphere, the attitude of the place. And so that comes with the feeling part. So actually sit, like meditate, and get into the feeling of a time where you just felt so loved, so expansive, so loving, so loved. And just like feel your heart opening, and just like this opening all around your body. That's what it feels like. And you just feel like warm and happy, and you like almost start smiling. And then stay in that state for a little bit. Like at the beginning, it'll be hard. I would only be able to do it for a couple seconds. And now I can really just sit in that state like most of the day, except for recently when I got triggered out of it. So these are the steps to do to, you know, resolve your triggers and get out of them and alchemize them. And I hope this helps you guys. Definitely do it. It's really life-changing. And just to be able to be that person who can hold space for other people. Now, definitely don't be a therapist. Don't open like this thing where everyone's coming to you for problems. Definitely have boundaries about that. But it's like when one of your family members, like once in a while, or it's like your kid, you know, and they need you to hold space for them. And yeah, this will really help. So anyhow, hope that helped you guys, because learning this stuff really helped me to be able to work through these things. Because I used to like rely on like a family member for this. Like your mom, you expect your mom to be like, oh no, like everything's fine, like it's okay. I don't know, you just want them to like say something nice to you. But instead, like what usually happens with me is they just like look at you and then they leave. And then you feel completely abandoned, and at least that's how I feel. And so now I've learned to just do that for myself so that I'm not depending on someone else or making them responsible or trying to like make them help me with my feelings, because only we can do that for ourselves, you know. So yeah, anyhow, this definitely helps me resolve things way better than I used to in the past, like 100,000%. And I hope to help you guys. And if you want to go deeper into this, definitely check out my course, Divinely Favored. It's in the link below. It's in the description box below. It is so amazing. It's absolutely life-changing. It's everything I've used to go from being super insecure and triggered all the time and so anxious and like tiny and, you know, not confident at all, to just, you know, standing in my power and, you know, living the life that I wanted to. And the whole thing about it is just becoming your own dream girl. So I hope that helped you guys. My arm is getting a little bit shaky from holding the phone. I just wanted to come on real quick and do this. And yeah, definitely like and comment and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.